Hello there, my fellow myth and fantasy nerds. My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. And Happy New Year, everybody! Also, since this video is going up the day of my younger brother's birthday, Ethan, if you're watching this, hi, Big Brother wishes you a happy birthday. Now, for my first video of the new year, I wanted to tell y'all a story from Japan that I've honestly been wanting to do for quite a while now. And, at least according to one of my favorite YouTube channels, seems to be the origin of the magical kid from somewhere else trope that has become so well known in the modern day. So, as always, please make sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe down below. Pretty please! It'll help me make more content for you. And without further ado, allow me to introduce to you the story of Momotaro. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, an elderly couple lived in a small house in rural Japan. This couple had wished for years and years, in fact, as long as their marriage, for a child to call their own. But sadly, like most childless couples in fairy tales, their wishes and prayers had so far been left unanswered. One day, when the old woman went to the nearby river to do some laundry, she sang a song that her mother taught her for whenever she did the laundry. As she was singing, she felt a strange, unexplainable feeling. She looked beside her, and there, floating down the river towards her, was a truly enormous peach. The peach was bigger than a basketball. It was big enough that it could provide the woman and her husband enough food to last for weeks, maybe even months. And miraculously, the peach floated to her and settled itself on the riverbank right next to her. She didn't know why, but she felt that she needed to take this peach home with her, and plopping the peach into her laundry basket, nestling it amongst the clothes, she trudged her way back home, struggling under the weight of the basket. When she finally reached home, her husband was astonished at the enormous peach she brought home. "My love," he said to her, "what are we supposed to do with such an extraordinary fruit?" "Dear," came the reply, "we can probably sustain ourselves for weeks, maybe months off of this peach alone." Thoroughly convinced, the man went to the kitchen and brought back the biggest knife he owned to cut this peach open. However, as soon as he brought the knife over, they heard a muffled voice coming from inside the peach. "Wait!" the voice cried out. "Please don't cut the peach open. You might cut me by mistake. Here, let me help you." The peach began to shiver and shake until, like a giant fruity Pokeball, the peach split right down the middle, and nestled within, where a giant peach pit would most likely be, there sat a healthy baby boy. He looked up at the couple, who stood staring at him with their mouths practically on the floor. "Hello, Mommy, Daddy," he said. "Pleased to meet you. I'm your new son, sent here by the gods themselves." When they came to their senses, the elderly couple decided to not look a gift baby in the mouth, so to speak, and welcomed their new son with open arms. They even gave him a very fitting name, Momotaro, which loosely translated means the Peach's eldest son. Time passed, and Momotaro grew stronger and stronger at a borderline supernatural rate. In fact, at the ripe old age of 5 years old, he was able to chop down a full grown tree with nothing but a large knife. On the one hand, I kind of wonder what he could do with an axe, but on the other hand, I don't think I want to know. Anyway, when he reached his teens, Momotaro learned of a large gang of greedy and bloodthirsty Oni, which are basically a cross between orcs and demons, who were pillaging and feasting on the people in the nearby villages. He also learned of the island that they were using as their home base. Mother, father, he said to them, I am humbly asking you for some rations, some clothes, and your blessing, so that I can go and defeat these wicked Oni and avenge our people. May I go? The elderly couple felt conflicted. On the one hand, they were worried about these Oni coming after them, and they hoped that someone would stand up to them. However, on the other hand, they were afraid that they may never see their only son ever again. In the end, they were persuaded, and they packed Momotaro a bag with extra clothes, whatever weapons they could provide, which, granted, was not much, and some kibidango, a type of dumpling made from millet flour. From there, Momotaro bade his mother and father goodbye for now and set off on his adventure. A few days into his adventure, Momotaro came upon a field with a stray dog standing guard over it. Halt, stranger! The dog barked at him. You're trespassing on my land. Surrender all the food in your bag, or I will bite you to death. My apologies. I didn't know this was your field. My name is Momotaro. Please, let me pass, for I'm traveling to the fortress of the Oni that have been ravaging my people. So, how about I make you a deal? I'll give you some of my kibidongo, and you can come and fight with me. Fair enough? The dog readily agreed, and Momotaro gave him the kibidongo, and then they both set off on their way. Soon enough, Momotaro and his dog companion came across a monkey, who the dog immediately distrusted. The monkey was much more polite than the dog was, and simply asked if Momotaro could let him tag along. While the dog stood by jealously, Momotaro was delighted and immediately agreed. To signify the monkey joining their team, Momotaro gave him a piece of kibidango. After a while, the trio came upon a pheasant, who immediately started off on the wrong foot by attacking the dog. Momotaro admired the bird's, for lack of a better term, chutzpah, and stepped in between him and the dog, saying, Hey now, why are you attacking my companion and putting a delay on our journey? Now I'm going to have to respectfully ask you to stop fighting us and perhaps join us instead? Unless, of course, you actually want to have my dog bite your head off. Oh no, the pheasant said quickly. Given those choices, I'd much rather join you. Yada yada yada, kibidongo. Now, Momotaro said, after the pheasant joined their group, before we move on, we're going to have some rules. The best thing we will need going forward, in fact, what any military force needs, is cooperation. If we're all going to take part of this quest moving forward, we're all going to have to work together. So from now on, no more fighting amongst yourselves. The first one to start another fight will be kicked out of our group right then and there. Got it? Momotaro's charisma and leadership was so powerful, all three of his companions ended up becoming good friends. Soon enough, the small group came upon the shore, where Momotaro acquired a boat and the friends sailed away for the island of the Oni. While they were sailing to the island, the foursome got to know each other better and became even closer friends. Soon enough, the group landed on an island with a large, foreboding castle looking out over the water. When they reached the shore, Momotaro pulled his three companions in close and gave them the plan. Okay, Pheasant, he said, since you have the advantage of flight, we'll need you to fly ahead of us and start the attack on the Oni. Dog, Monkey, and I will join you as soon as we can. With that, Pheasant flew over the fortress walls and sang out to the Oni. Listen well, villainous monsters! The great Momotaro has come to battle and take your fortress. If you wish to surrender peacefully, and in doing so keep your lives, simply tear off your horns as a token of your surrender. If you still wish to fight, I must let you know that Momotaro, Dog, Monkey, and I will surely tear you limb from limb. The Oni all looked at each other. They were all of different sizes, shapes, and colors. Some had one horn, some had two, some had three. Some had one eye, two eyes, three eyes, some with red skin, some with blue skin, all looking at the pheasant and then looking at each other. Then, after a little bit of silence, they all started roaring with laughter. And who are you, a wild pheasant, to tell us to surrender when we can easily knock you out of the sky with one of our iron clubs? The Oni sprung into action, carrying large iron clubs, known in Japan as kanabo. Seriously, look them up. They are fearsome weapons. The result was honestly kind of cartoony, because the pheasant ended up flying around the heads of the Oni, and when they caught sight of him, they would start swinging. And when he dodged, the kanabo were so heavy they'd just crash into the heads of the other Oni. Meanwhile, Momotaro, Monkey, and Dog were sneaking around the fortress, trying to find a way in. The walls were really high, and the gates that guarded the entranceways were made of heavy iron. When they found two young women washing bloody clothes in a nearby stream, with tears staining their faces. Hello, Momotaro said, approaching them. Who are you, and why are you crying? Please, good sir, one of the maidens said. We are servants to the Oni king. We were taken away from our homes and our families by the Oni and forced into servitude, even though we're both the daughters of powerful daimyo. Daimyo is the Japanese term for great lord, and they were rulers of land under a shogun, who were military leaders at the time. The second maiden then spoke up, saying, The worst part of it is, even though we serve him, the Oni king has promised that one day he will kill us and eat us, and we have no one who can help us. At this, fresh tears rolled down both their faces. Well, worry no more, Momotaro said to them. My companions and I will rescue you from here. But first, we need to find a way in. Can you show us? The two maidens took them to the servants' entrance, which was really a tunnel on the side of the wall that Momotaro had a very difficult time fitting through. Soon enough, they came upon the absolute chaos that was the courtyard of the fortress, with several Oni laying on the ground stunned, and several others swinging clubs, with Pheasant gracefully weaving past them. Momotaro, Monkey, and Dog joined the fray, and within a short time the four friends overtook the rest of the Oni. The Oni were quite surprised at this, because the four companions fought as well as there was 100 of them. Soon only the Oni king was left, and, intelligent being that he quickly surrendered, tearing off his horns as a sign of submission. I cannot continue fighting you, great warriors, he said, kneeling on the ground. I will give you all the treasure in my fortress. Just please spare my life. Momotaro laughed at this. The big bad king of the Oni begging for mercy? He then grew serious and continued. How many of my people begged and pleaded for mercy before your people slaughtered them? He then tied up the Oni king and put Monkey in charge of keeping an eye on him. While Monkey kept his eye on the Oni king, Momotaro went from room to room throughout the fortress, setting everyone else who was captured and enslaved free and gathering up all the treasure he could find. Somehow, some way, they got everyone on their boat, as well as all the treasure and the Oni King, who they took as a prisoner, and sailed their way back to the mainland without sinking. How they did that is anyone's guess. Momotaro returned the captured people, including the two maidens, the daughters of daimyo, to their rightful families, and distributed the wealth amongst the people. The people sang Momotaro's praises and hailed him as a hero who saved them from the Oni who terrorized them for a long time. But you're probably wondering, what about Momotaro's parents? Oh, don't worry. He never forgot about them. His parents rejoiced most of all, and Momotaro brought back enough treasure for them to live peacefully and abundantly for the rest of their lives. And there we have it. That was the epic story of Momotaro. If you liked this story and you want more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing down below so you don't miss any new content from me. Also, if you have any other ideas that you want to see in any future videos, please leave your suggestions in the comments down below. Who knows? It might just happen. Alright, well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I'll see you all next week with some brand new content for you. See you guys then.